I will take the glory, wealth, and fame of anybody that rents my house. May my tenant's fortune become mine, and mine alone.
Before you move into any rented apartment, ask questions, observe well, do your findings. Some roofs hide more than just walls. They hide darkness. Emma had just passed out of the NYSC orientation camp, happy, full of life, ready to begin his 1-year service as a teacher in a town he'd never been to before. But there was no Corper's lodge provided. He had to find a place himself. After asking around, someone mentioned a certain Chief Austin. Go to him, they said. He doesn't collect rent from core members. He has a whole compound, many empty rooms. Out of desperation, Emma went. When he arrived at the compound, he felt it. That strange silence. The air wasn't right. It was too still, like the compound itself was holding its breath. The building was an old face me, I face you, narrow room stacked side by side with one long corridor. The paint on the walls had long given up. Cracks lined the floors like veins. But what stood out wasn't the building. It was the tree, right in the center of the compound. A tall, dry-looking tree with twisted branches that looked like arms wide open, as if it wanted to hug someone or hold them down. Emma swallowed. What kind of tree is this? He muttered to himself. He looked around and saw a tenant. They didn't greet. In fact, they didn't speak. Before he could think further, a man appeared, well-dressed, big belly, gold ring on his finger. Ah, my son, the man said with a smile. You're welcome. What brings you here? Emma introduced himself quickly and explained his need for a room. Chief Austin laughed warmly. You don't need to worry about rent, my dear Corper. You can move in today. Take this key. Room 77. Room 77. Emma smiled. He was grateful. It all seemed like a miracle. He didn't know he just stepped into a story that would change him forever. Emma packed his small belongings into room 77. It wasn't much, just a narrow room with a tiny window and a creaky wooden bed. But it would do. It's just for 1 year, he said to himself. I'll manage. That night, after settling in, he rang his mother, the woman who had raised him with nothing but grit and prayers. He told her about Chief Austin and his generous offer. Anne, that's good, oh, she said, her voice warm over the phone. God will bless that man for helping you. Emma smiled, unaware that sleep was about to usher him into the first sign of trouble. That night, Emma had a strange dream. A man, tall and dark, wearing a full masquerade costume, was chasing him through a forest. Drums were beating in the background. He ran and ran, but the masquerade kept coming. Its eyes glowed red. Its laughter echoed like thunder. He woke up suddenly, his heart pounding, shirt soaked, but he chuckled, trying to shake it off. It's just tiredness, camp wahala, and that long journey, he said aloud. But deep down, something didn't feel right. A few days later, Emma was preparing to leave for school when he saw Chief Austin by the corridor. He was speaking with a man dressed in white shirt and black trousers, Bible tucked under one arm. Ah, Emma, Chief Austin called out. Come meet Pastor Timothy. He'll be your neighbor, room 78. Emma smiled. At last, he wouldn't feel so alone in this strange compound. Pastor Timothy moved in later that day, but it didn't last long. On the second night around 1:30 a.m., Emma was fast asleep when he was startled by shouting, Blood of Jesus, I bind you, you evil spirit, out! Emma sat up. His heart jumped. The voice was coming from room 78. He crept closer to his door listening. He could hear furniture being knocked over, glass shattering, a man's voice praying loud and fast, then a scream, a heavy thud, then silence. Morning hadn't even fully broken when Emma opened his door and saw Pastor Timothy, sweating, limping, Bible still clutched to his chest, storming out of room 78. He didn't greet anyone. He didn't say goodbye. He just walked out of the compound with fear in his eyes, like he had seen something that shouldn't exist. Emma stood frozen. Something wasn't right. And now he was alone again. Moments later, Emma watched from his doorway as Chief Austin walked slowly to room 78. He wasn't in a hurry. He wasn't even looking around. He locked the room, clipped the keys to his wrapper, and walked away, not saying a word to anyone. That small act, that quiet locking of a door, it told Emma everything he needed to know. Something wasn't right in that house. From that night on, Emma stayed alert. His ears picked up even the softest footsteps. He avoided drinking too much at night. He didn't want to be caught unawares. One particular evening, he stayed up preparing his lesson notes. The wind outside was oddly still. Not a single bird chirped. Even the building seemed too quiet. Then the lights flickered. First once, then again. Fourth, the bulb blinked once more, then died. Emma froze. From outside, a strange rhythm echoed faintly, something like humming and the clinking of metal. Curiosity dragged him to the window. Quietly, he pulled the curtain to the side and peeped through. What he saw made his blood run cold. There, under the moonlight, was Chief Austin. He was dressed in nothing but a red wrapper, barefoot, chest bare, and in his hand, he held a bunch of keys that glimmered like silver. He was dancing, not happily, but rhythmically, slowly, circling the tall, twisted tree in the center of the compound. The tree looked even more unnatural now, with its long, crooked limbs stretched wide like a man waiting to be hugged. Chief Austin raised the keys toward the tree. "You deity," he said clearly. "His name is Timothy." He stepped into room 78 and left. He paused, then smiled. He left behind his riches, his wealth, his good fortune, and all that he carried in goodness. And now it is mine, until another tenant comes, before I renew. The moment he finished speaking, the tree began to shake violently. Its branches twisted as if alive. A strange whispering filled the air. Then, something terrifying happened. Chief Austin took a few steps backward, and right before Emma's eyes, he transformed. His body shrank. His skin turned dark and glossy. Within seconds, the landlord had become a black, fierce-looking cat, its eyes glowing with something not of this world. Emma stumbled back from the window. He couldn't breathe. Was it a dream? Was he losing his mind? Then, he heard a meow, right there, inside his own room. Emma slowly turned his head, and there it was, the black cat, standing by his door, its back arched, its eyes fixed on him. The black cat didn't just stare this time, it leapt, claws out, fangs bared. It lunged at Emma with a brutal force. He screamed in terror as the beast clawed at him, hissing wildly, "God of Abraham, God of Isaac and Jacob, God of Mount Kilimanjaro, even you, God of small gods, please help me." He called every god he could think of, but nothing stopped the cat. The attack went on for what felt like forever, until suddenly everything went black. Emma collapsed to the ground, silent, motionless, cold. It was as if the heavens had gone quiet, as if God himself had abandoned Emmanuel. Hours passed, maybe minutes, no one knows. Emma couldn't even get up, let alone pack his belongings. His hands trembled as he managed to grab his phone. With the last ounce of strength he had, he called the only person that ever truly fought for him. "Mom," he whispered, his voice barely audible. "I'm dying. Please, I need help." Then the line went dead. His mother, a strong woman who'd labored all her life, sat frozen, phone still in hand. "Emma," she called back. No answer. She called again and again and again. Still no answer. Tears ran freely down her cheeks. Her heart pounded as if it would burst from her chest. She collapsed to her knees in her sitting room and cried out to God, "Oh Lord, wherever my child is, send help. Don't let me bury my son." She stayed awake the rest of the night, weeping and praying. By dawn, she was already at the motor park. She carried nothing but her small bag and a mother's faith. That morning, she boarded the first available bus, heading straight to the town where her son had been posted. The only clue she had. She didn't even know Chief Austin, but she was coming. And this time, heaven was coming with her. Mrs. Margaret arrived at the town as dusk settled. Her heart raced, clutching her small bag as she hurried towards the school. By sheer luck, or fate, she met a female staff roaming the school compound. "Please, my son, Emmanuel, Corper Emma. I got a strange call. He's in trouble," she pleaded, out of breath. The staff's eyes widened. "No wonder we haven't seen him. He's never missed a day." Without wasting a second, the kind staff led Mrs. Margaret towards Chief Austin's compound, just a short distance away. When they reached, the atmosphere was eerie. The air thick, the building silent, hauntingly empty. Mrs. Margaret had no idea which room was her son's. She began knocking door to door. Room 50, no answer. Room 60, nothing. The sun had set. Darkness consumed the compound. That's when trouble started. She was at the door of room 70 when suddenly a black cat appeared out of nowhere and lunged at her. The staff screamed in horror and fled. Mrs. Margaret lost her balance and fell. But something stirred within her, a mother's strength. She stood up, firm, undeterred. "Emma, Emma, Emmanuel, I am here for you." Her voice echoed through the dead compound. The tree began to tremble violently, its arms wide open, as though alive. The cat snarled, pounced once again. But this time, driven by sheer instinct, Mrs. Margaret struck it mid-air. The cat tumbled to the ground, twisting, and transformed into Chief Austin, clad in his signature red wrapper, writhing in pain. Margaret didn't flinch. She screamed again, "Emma! Emma, answer me!" Then, a faint bang on a door, a weak grunt. She followed the sound, rushing towards room 77. With trembling hands, she forced the door open. There he was, Emma, collapsed, breath shallow, barely alive. Without wasting time, she gathered his documents and belongings into a small bag. She hoisted Emma onto his feet, supporting his frail body with all her might. But when she glanced back, Chief Austin was gone, vanished. Margaret didn't wait. She dragged her son out of that cursed compound, refusing to look back. She found a nearby park and boarded the first night bus. That night, Emma and his mother left that town forever. It took months of care before Emma regained his strength. He couldn't finish his NYC, but he was alive, thanks to his mother's undying love. Word spread about Chief Austin's evil "Face Me, I Face You" building. People stayed far away, whispering of dark spirits. Chief Austin was later found dead, seated on a wooden chair in front of the twisted tree, his face a horrifying skeleton grin. Before you rent a house, do you truly know your landlord?